everyone, welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Check them out. Check them out. But first, stay on this one. I think this is a somewhat important video. So before I even get into the topic, because I know you guys already saw the thumbnail and read the title, I don't even have to say that. I will say this video is going to be a little bit shorter than usual. Why is that? Well, simply because I do not have as much information, or not even information, experience, I would say, because I would say that just experience itself, anecdotal evidence of, the information I can provide on something like this. It's, as I said, my knowledge on it is minimal due to my experience with it being very minimal. But what I can say is that, I do have common sense knowledge on this. So let's get into it. This is my opinions on bulletproof clothing. Now, what am I going to sit here and argue whether, like how I would for a firearm or for a caliber, whether it's good for self-defense or not? No, not really. The main reason why I'm not is because in all reality, that was the entire purpose of bulletproof clothing's design itself, is to defend against some level of bullet, some caliber up to some point. So it would be kind of silly for me to sit here and, talk about that and try to, prove my point for that, because that's obviously, obvious it's good for helping, in a defensive case where you're defending, you're not defending yourself in an offensive manner, you're defending yourself in a defensive manner. You see what I mean? I think that's the best way to word it. However, let's get right into it. So, is bulletproof clothing really worth it? I have mixed opinions about it, because the truth of the matter is, all right, a lot of times bulletproof clothing, while it can be useful, of course it can, it only stops up to a certain caliber, which of course shouldn't surprise anybody. I'm not sitting here expecting it to, be able to stop like green tip 5.56 or something. However, what I can say is that a lot of times they only are able to stop up to a certain certain handgun calibers. We're talking like, 45 ACP, maybe even 10 millimeter, whatever. They're rated for calibers along those lines, and really more beyond that would just go through it. So just for it being rated for those calibers alone, while you are more likely than not to come across a situation where those calibers are being used against you than maybe higher powered like rifle cartridges, it is still the possibility of the fact that you might come across a situation where you are dealing with something like rifle cartridges, and that bulletproof clothing, while it may take some of the energy, isn't gonna be enough to really save you at that point. Now, there is that. Now, I will say the reason why I brought that up first is because that is probably the slimmest out of all the chances of happening. However, though, it is still a possibility. You don't know. These jits are running around with Dracos and, the buffer tube special ARP with no brace, no stock, nothing on it. So who knows? However, regardless, that's besides the point. Would I recommend it for maybe something like children? No, not really. A lot of people actually, and this is something I wanted to bring up in this video as well. I might go into a bit more detail on it, maybe do a debunking anti-gunners video yet, but I haven't formulated it fully out. But I will touch on the topic a little bit. A lot of anti-gunners, they are buying their children bulletproof products, like, for example, bulletproof backpacks, whatever, and they feel that that's going to protect their child when, if a mass shooting occurs at their child's school. I want to point this out right now, that those products are not, how should I say, they're not up to par to handle a lot of different calibers. A lot of these backpacks I've seen, no shit, some of these bulletproof backpacks I've actually seen 9mm just blow right through. The most common handgun cartridge on the planet at the moment is the 9mm Luger cartridge. It's not a very powerful round. It doesn't have a lot of pressure or a shit ton of energy behind it, and I've seen 9mm blow through some of these bulletproof backpacks. The truth of the matter is that some of these companies that are selling these bulletproof products are just gimmicks. They're just lying to you. On some level, they are able to lie to you about their product to get you to want to buy it. Think about it like this. Have you ever seen a product where it's like, oh, yeah, let's take paper towels. Oh, yeah, best paper towels in town. But they did not go around doing a survey of, who likes what paper towels the best. You see what I mean? So on the same in the same aspect, they might sit there and over embellish how tough and how durable their products are. So I do want to point that out and state that for these anti-gunners that are buying these bulletproof backpacks, for example, for their children, worried that, hey, this might save my child's life in the case of a school shooting, you might just have wasted your money on a gimmick backpack. Now, that's besides the point. That's more so a bulletproof accessory. However, I did want to get into that and touch on that topic a little bit as well. But regardless, I might do a debunking anti-gunners video on it. Who knows? So really, I'll be able to get into the topic then. Back to, bulletproof clothing more so than bulletproof accessories in this case. I've seen a lot of bulletproof shirts, jackets. If I'm not mistaken, I've even seen some bulletproof pants, which seems very awkward to me. But regardless, uh, and it's not bulletproof like we're not. As I said, guys, we're not talking like actual body armor level of bulletproof. We're not talking like the level of durability that some steel plates and a chest rig can handle. We're not talking about that. We're talking about at the most Kevlar, which isn't all that powerful. So I want to point this out, guys. You essentially are giving up certain levels of comfortability because, in all reality, while I'm sure companies can do everything they can with the fabrics of the actual clothing itself to make it as comfortable as possible, it's not going to be anywhere near as comfortable as just a normal shirt. That's just the truth. It's not going to be anywhere near as comfortable as the standard clothing. Now, am I to sit here and say that if I were given, like some bulletproof clothing as like a gift or whatever, that I wouldn't wear it? No, I probably would. I mean, why not? You know what I mean? If it doesn't look, conspicuous or very suspicious or obvious, I have, a level of, I mean, not a level of body armor, but in a sense, I'm wearing bulletproof clothing, then yeah, I would probably wear it. However, I would want to see how comfortable it is before I start wearing it around. It's probably going to be a tiny bit heavier because, in all reality, it's not like, adding all that extra, not fabric, but material to make the clothing some level of bulletproof. It's that material isn't weightless, So you guys have to understand, while it can be very useful, it could also really just be kind of a nuisance, an inconvenience, a pain in the ass. However, one question I do like to raise for people, and I will say I'm not exactly running around with bulletproof clothing myself, uh, is if you feel that that's something you might need, what's your life worth to you? Go ahead, get it. You know what I mean? That's on you. Is it something I think everybody needs or should have? No, not necessarily. I would more so advocate for people actually having, plates and a chest rig, definitely more so than just your standard bulletproof clothing. But that's a whole nother aspect, a whole nother topic, and a whole nother video. But my whole point is simply that bulletproof clothing, I don't know. My opinions are very mixed on it because, as I said, I can see the benefits from them. But I can also just see some of the cons coming from them because, in all reality, some people, they hear bulletproof and they don't have the knowledge to understand that that doesn't mean that this item can't be broken through with any bullet. That's one of the biggest issues is people hear bulletproof and they think it means bulletproof. Bulletproof does not mean bulletproof, guys. It means that it can withtake the energy and damage coming off of a round up to a certain caliber. That is it. That's why you have different levels of body armor, because they can handle up to different calibers. Bulletproof clothing itself has to be made within a certain, well, I guess subjectively, you could say, not objectively. They have to be made subjectively light. You know what I mean? You're not going to be running around with, metal plates in your shirt that, is going to make you well, not bulletproof, but you know what I mean, resistant up to, you know, certain rifle rounds or anything along those lines. It's only going to be capable of stopping probably smaller handgun rounds. As I said, you know, that is a great chance of what you are more likely than not to come into. But, you know, you never know. All right. That's the whole reason why we carry guns, is because you never know. So I guess as a whole, am I for or against, you know, bulletproof clothing? I'm not against it. I'm not necessarily for it either. I believe I have a fairly middle ground stance on this, that it can be beneficial, you know, in certain aspects. And of course, if somebody feels that they need it, they should be able to have it. Another thing I would like to talk about is I feel that, you know, I feel one of the laws that, you know, beyond infringes on people's rights, because I believe if you have done a crime and you've been released from prison, that you should be able to do your time. And if they think, well, you should be able to do your time, you should get your rights back after doing your time. Excuse me. You know, if people think, oh, yeah, well, he shouldn't get his rights back, don't release him from jail. That's my opinion. My whole point, though, is simply that I'm seeing cases where they're not cases, but it's just laws. Felons are not allowed to be in possession of any form of body armor, any form of bulletproof clothing. I think that's a little ridiculous, because you can't exactly, you know, commit murders with bulletproof clothing or body armor, you know. But whatever, that's not the point. My whole point is simply that I have mixed opinions about bulletproof clothing. I have mixed opinions about laws surrounding all forms of body armor, which it's weird that we even have any laws. There's, regardless, sorry about that. I'm getting off topic again. I know it's been a while since I've recorded, so I'm a little excited, a little hype, you know. With that being said, y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all. And whether you agree with me or not, you know, bulletproof clothing, it does have its benefits. However, just like with everything, especially in the firearm world, however many pros it can have, and more likely than not, has just as many cons. If you agree with me, make sure to check out all my other videos. Y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.